Xyngfling executive, Melissa Adams.
Glad to be here. I'm so glad to be back with my Xyngfling family. This has been so far the greatest event that we've had in a long time. Today, I am going to be really vulnerable with you guys and share a low point in my life. So with what Christy said, very on brand with what I'm going to talk to you about today. So it was around midnight one night last September, and I was completely exhausted. I had just finished a long day of taking care of my dad, cleaning the house, doing a Zoom, sending messages, talking to my team in the in-between, and I had kept my princess for a few rare hours that day. Kevin was already asleep, and I finally laid down and just closed my eyes, and then my Ring camera went off, and my dad needed me again. And in that moment, I felt the weight of all of it. The exhaustion, the overwhelm, the feeling that no matter how much I did, there was always more. I wanted to cry. I wanted just to cover my head up and stay in bed. I wanted to stop and just breathe. It was also around that time that the guilt started creeping in. The guilt of having to tell my daughter, I can't keep the grandkids today. The guilt of knowing my husband needed more of me, but my dad was my full-time focus. The guilt of not showing up for my Xyngfling team the way I used to, the way that they deserved. And the guilt of leaning so much on my accountability partners, asking for their support without being able to give as much in return. But let me back up a second so you guys know what I'm talking about, because a year ago, my life looked completely different. My husband and I were independent, empty nesting grandparents. We worked hard to create a life of freedom, traveling, enjoying time with our grandkids, building our Xyngfling business without the weight of daily caregiving. And then everything changed. Right after we got back from Fling last year, I went with my dad to his doctor's appointment. In 2023, he had been diagnosed with a terminal cancer, MDS. And at this time, it was a watch and wait thing, that when I came back from Fling, he was feeling tired and worn down. And after some blood tests, his doctor recommended a blood transfusion. He was told that in a couple of days, he'd feel like a brand new person. So the next day, I took him in for his blood transfusion, but they pushed the blood through too fast and put him into cardiogenic shock. And just like that, my dad went from feeling just a little run down to fighting for his life. He was on life support for 13 days. He was in the hospital a total of 62 days. And when he was finally discharged in June, he moved in with me, and I became his full-time 24/7 caregiver. My sisters went back to their full-time jobs, and suddenly it was all on me. He couldn't stand, he couldn't walk, he couldn't even turn himself in bed, which had to be done every 2 hours around the clock. I became responsible for his medication, for his food, for his doctor's appointments, every single part of his daily life, and suddenly the freedom that we had was gone. Instead of planning trips, I was planning doctor's visits. Instead of spontaneous date nights, I was adjusting to sleepless nights of caregiving. Instead of being the grandparent who said yes at a moment's notice, I was now a mom who had to say no to my daughter far too often, and I had never done that before. And that transition, it shook me, because nobody prepares you for how your life can change just in an instant. No one tells you how to grieve the life you had while still trying to show up for the life you have now. And for a while, I felt like I was losing myself in the whole process. But then I heard another voice deep in my heart that said, I made you for this. I've given you everything you need, not just to survive, but to thrive. And in that moment, everything shifted. I realized I had been looking at it all wrong. I could either lay down or I could rise up. I could either focus on what I couldn't do, or I could focus on what I could do. I could feel sorry for myself, or I could be fully present in the moments that I had. I could let go of the guilt and give myself grace. I could lean into Jesus. I could lean into my support system and the tools that I had and keep moving forward, even if it wasn't perfect. Woo! So I pulled up my big girl panties and decided life is not going to break me. I'm going to build something stronger in the middle of it. I know that I am not the only one here carrying guilt and stress and overwhelm. Everybody has their struggles. Everyone is either in a valley, you're just coming out of the valley, or you're about to go through one, because that's life. But what I can tell you is this: you are stronger than you think, and you can do hard things. Woo! So I want to tell you how you can tap into that strength and keep growing no matter what life throws at you. That night when I sat in the weight of my exhaustion and guilt, I had a choice. I could let my circumstances make me powerless, or I could find my power inside of them. And that's what I want to share with you. When you shift your perspective, you shift your power. So I couldn't change the fact that my dad needed full-time care. I couldn't change the fact that I had to say no to things I used to say yes to. But what I could change was the way I saw it. So instead of seeing my situation as something happening to me, I started seeing it as something happening for me, and how lucky I was to have this time with my dad. This season wasn't meant to break me, it was meant to strengthen me. And once I made that shift, I started seeing everything differently. One of the most powerful things that I did was positive affirmations. And I wasn't just saying nice words to myself, I was declaring the truth I needed to stand on. Yes. So instead of saying I'm exhausted, I can't handle this, I started saying I am strong. I have everything I need right now for today. Yes. Instead of saying I don't have time for my business, I said I am creating flexibility for my family by showing up consistently. Instead of saying this is too hard, I told myself I am capable and I am equipped for every challenge. The words you speak over yourself matter, because when you start speaking life, you start to believe it. And when you start to believe it, you start to live it. But perspective alone isn't enough, because no matter how strong your mindset is, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving, constantly working, constantly showing up for everyone else, but you're not filling your own self up, you're going to burn out. That's kind of where I found myself. For me, filling my cup starts with my faith. Every single day I pray. Not just when things are hard, not just when I need something. I pray because I can't do this alone. My strength doesn't come from me, it comes straight from God. And when I lean into Him, I find the peace and endurance that I need to keep going. And I also had to lean on my people, my accountability partners, my inner circle, the ones who remind me of who I am when I forget. And I'll be honest, this past year I've needed them more than ever. I've leaned on them so much, sometimes so much more, that I was able to pour back into them. And that's really hard for me, because I'm used to being the strong one. I'm used to being the encourager and the leader. But in this season, and everything's a season, in this season, I had to accept that sometimes resilience means receiving support just as much as it means giving it. Yes, and it also means being intentional about who you let pour into you. Because if you're constantly around negative people who complain and doubt and bring drama, that energy will drain you even more. But when you surround yourself with people who speak life, who pray for you, who push you to be better, who remind you that you can do this, it just changes everything. And then when you get your cup full, you can pour into others. And it doesn't just bless them, it blesses you too. I see this in my business every day. When I take the time to encourage my team, to check in on a new partner, to celebrate somebody's win, it reminds me of why I do this, and it fuels me. Because nothing will keep you stuck faster than focusing only on yourself.
That's right.
But when you shift your focus to help others, suddenly your own struggles don't seem overwhelming anymore.
And this applies to every part of life. When I'm caring for my dad, it's not just about what he needs, it's about the love that I'm able to give him. When I'm with my grandkids, it's not just about spending time with them, it's about the joy that I see from seeing the world through their eyes and being able to spoil them rotten. And in Xyngfling, it's not just about selling products, it's about empowering people to take control of their health in the future. It's about showing them how they can create the life they've always dreamed of, how they can achieve that financial flexibility, build a supportive community, and become the leaders that they were always meant to be. It's about showing up for my team every single day and getting them in the right mindset and getting rid of their stinking thinking to face the week ahead. When you focus on giving, you always get filled in return. So let's bring it all together. Life is going to happen. Challenges will come, but you have everything you need to keep going and keep growing. In Xyngfling, growing doesn't have to be complicated, and the easiest place to find new partners is right in your back office. How many times have you approached your happy customers about being eligible for that $500 bonus? How many times have you looked through your subscription report of the people who are ordering month after month and sending them a message about being a business partner with you? How many times have you looked in your back office at the people who haven't ordered in the last couple of months and reached out and told them all the things that are going on right now? Your back office is a gold mine, and the easiest way to onboard them, you heard yesterday, is that the tools that Xyngfling has given us, especially the new app. Who's obsessed with that? You don't have to reinvent the wheel, you just have to be consistent, follow up, plug people into the system, and then one more tip that I can give you that I've used a lot is making videos to help build relationships to grow. And if you don't have time to get on the phone, send them a short, personal, encouraging video. Let them see your passion, your excitement, your sincerity. On your good days, make generic videos that you can send to multiple people so it still feels personal. On your good days, get dressed up and do actual video chats with customers and partners and business prospects. On your good days, make several reels so you have an arsenal that you can post on the days that you just can't. And like you've heard, people don't follow a product, they follow you. And when they see your heart, they'll want to be a part of what you're building. So my encouragement and my challenge to you today is take everything we've talked about, shift your perspective, fill your cup, pour into others, and choose one area of your life where you can apply it right now. Whether it's your mindset, your relationships, or your business, take one step today that moves you forward, because resilience isn't built in the easy moments, it's built in the hard ones. Sometimes life hits you right upside the head and things seem impossible. But if you're willing to fight and do it in spite of what's thrown at you, nothing is impossible.
Amen.
Woo!
In the darkest hour, you shine your light. In our weakness, you show your might. Mountains move at your command. God of miracles, with us you stand. God of miracles, we believe in your power. We receive signs and wonders, your love is. God of miracles, our hearts you give. When hope is fading, you make a way through the shadows. You lead today. In your presence, fear must flee. God of miracles, setting us free. God of miracles, we believe in your power we receive.
So don't let someone dictate your story, and don't let the lies that you tell yourself write the end of your story. Pick up the pen and believe that anything is possible and fight for what you want, because your story isn't over. In fact, this is just the beginning. It doesn't matter how long you've been here. It doesn't matter what you've been through. You need to get excited right now. You need to get fired up right now. And you need to rally right now. Because Xyngfling is just getting started.